Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Legion Alpha video. Today I'm going to be taking another look at the Havoc Demon Hunter, which is a spec that frankly I really did not enjoy at all, and it's actually a spec that's had quite a lot of iteration and improvement, where it's really now at the point where it's more of a complete, well-rounded and playable spec as far as the core gameplay rotation goes anyway. So previously it all surrounded Demon's Bite, which would generate 20 to 30 Fury, and then Chaos Strike, which would do a bunch of damage, and if it crit, it wouldn't cost any Fury. We then had things like Blade Dance, which was an AoE, we had Chaos Nova, which existed, and it's basically a 40-second cooldown big stun thing. You know, your glaive was there, but now there are a few more sort of mechanics and interactions that go on. I think one of the main ones is demonic, so your Chaos Nova and I-Beam transform you into demon form for 5 seconds. Basically, every time I do Chaos Nova or I-Beam, I get a miniature metamorphosis. Now that actually does increase the gameplay quite a bit, and we also have a new sort of main button to spam in the form of Fellblade. This has got a 15-yard range, so you charge at the target and do 65,000 fire damage. It generates 40 Fury, which is quite a lot, and it's got a chance to be reset by your usage of Demon's Bite, which is your main generator. Unfortunately, Fellblade does not work on target dummies in terms of its Fury generation, but you can see it does actually, rush you into the target. So as far as your gameplay goes, you're still, you're hitting your Demon Bite all the time. Now, I would normally be using Fellblade on cooldown. I'm not going to in this video because it doesn't have any useful effect due to the target dummies, but I'll show you some footage of it working in a bit. And then you're using your Chaos Strike. That's your core gameplay. We also have, I forgot to mention this, Fell Eruption. So this 20 Fury does 240k damage, which is a lot, and stuns the target on 25-second cooldown. So you're using Fell Eruption on cooldown, you're just executing your regular rotation, but then you're doing, and just pay attention to my character now when I do Chaos Nova, I'm now a demon. Now this has transformed it's empowered my Demon's Bite, and I'm now using Annihilation instead of Chaos Strike. Annihilation is just a super powerful Chaos Strike, essentially, and I also get a new version of Blade Dance, which I'll show you in a bit, which just does even more damage. So now we're at full Fury again. I'm going to I-Beam. Looks very cool. We have Death Sweep, which is just a more powerful version of sort of its previous one, of Blade Dance. And that's essentially your main gameplay loop. There's a bit more going on. Normally, I'd be hitting Fellblade a lot more, but it doesn't work in the target dummy, which kind of sucks. That would be giving me a lot more Fury. But yeah, the pace of things is faster. I really enjoy this rotation you've got going on with Chaos Nova and I-Beam putting you into your Metamorphosis form. I think that's actually it's one of those things that every 20 or so seconds, because of the way the cooldowns on these two are, and the pace of your gameplay is changed, and it's increased in speed. That keeps it from getting boring. Now, it's not mechanically that complex, because it just makes your it makes your 3, well, currently, what's my 3? Chaos Strike, it just makes it a bit better, faster, I think it's faster GCD as well. But it does change the pace of the spec, and that definitely is a good thing. Now, it also has some nice interaction with, as an example, Soul Rending. You gain 100% Leech when Metamorphosis is active. That includes the 5-second spurts of being in demon form from Demonic, so that gives you some really cool self-healing. Overall, faster pace, a little bit more utility stuff. Fellblade's really cool. We do have some other talent choices as well, and also there is the likes of, just wait till I find it here, Bloodlet. So Throw Glaive causes targets to bleed for 100% or 190% of the damage inflicted over 10 seconds. If it's reapplied, any of the remaining damage is added to the new Bloodlet. So this gives you a bleed to keep up, in addition to all of this stuff. Now this means that overall you've got quite a lot of stuff to sort of keep tabs on when it comes to playing a Demon Hunter. Now, do note that I have taken the selection of talents which gives me the most complexity, the most stuff going on. So if you don't fancy your Demon Hunter playing like this, you will have that option. And I think maybe having the Throw Glaive thing on top of all this might just be a little bit much in terms of me being able to use absolutely everything on cooldown and be 100% efficient. But certainly, big improvements from what we last saw. Now, additionally, I am at level 110 with a fully upgraded artifact weapon. That does mean that the spec overall is going to be playing a bit faster because I get all the incremental upgrades that the artifact weapons, their various different traits, will give you. And I think that's mainly what I want to say. Like, the overall utility and stuff like that is the same. I think the main takeaway from this is that just the bulk kind of stuff going on in the rotation is greater now. There's more stuff to keep track of, there's more stuff to do. If you choose for it to be that way, you can take talents which don't give you these, additional abilities like Fell Corruption, Fell Blade, or the interactions you get from Bloodlet, or say Demonic and Soul Rending, which will make you shift in and out of Metamorphosis. I think the key takeaway from this video is that they do appear to be making some forms of good change, and they're actually doing a good job of adding in talents which give you layers of complexity with the spec. Now, that said, Fell Corruption, that's just new utility. It's a 2-second stun, it does a bunch of damage, but it doesn't have much of an interaction to the way their other spells play. And you can say that for a few different things here, so maybe we're going to need more sort of cohesion between the different things that you get, and certainly I think some other specs are more fun than this. A lot of specs are more fun than this, but overall this is actually moving in a direction I think is quite nice. Right now, maybe it just feels like this core rotation lacks a little bit of direction with things like Fell Eruption and the bleed from Throw Glaive should you take that talent. Perhaps they'll have to rejig some of the various talents here to be on different rows. I personally think the strongest design sort of direction that they can go with this is making Metamorphosis and shifting in and out of that via your Chaos Nova and your I-Beam. I think that's really where they should be focusing the spec, because immediately that is what I found to be the more engaging, or the most engaging part of playing this, especially when I was trying to solo some bits of old content, which meant that effect that Leech has was really quite important. And just because everyone wants to see it, I'll go into Metamorphosis fully, and we can see what that looks like. Also, there's your new Death Sweep, looking very good. You can use something like Fell Eruption, though there's not it doesn't particularly benefit from meta. Now, obviously, during Metamorphosis, you don't want to use something like Chaos Nova. I-Beam will do more damage, though, so that's a potential thing. But, yeah, that's really most of it. Right now, I feel like, I've got a button to press every GCD, and I suppose the problem with the previous version was it was just the same 2 or 3 buttons you were always pressing. Well, now the pace of the spec has actually been increased. There's more stuff to press, more stuff to manage, and I think that's actually playing out quite well. I also have to mention, it'll just take me a second to find it here. Yes, First Blood. So this reduces the fury cost of Blade Dance by 20 and increases its damage to its first target struck. Now that is... Actually, it's something that's competing with Fellblade, so it does take away from having that extra button, but it does mean that using Blade Dance on cooldown is a sort of a more core part of your rotation overall. Just to add to what I've already covered, Fell Barrage is marked as not yet implemented, but it sort of works. Basically, it's got a 20-yard range, 30-second cooldown, and it unleashes these Fell charges. They do 82,000 chaos damage to your target and then nearby enemies for each charge. There's a maximum of 5 charges, and your damaging attacks have a chance to generate a charge. So whenever I hit 9, what you'll see is 4 things will go off, and they'll fly out and damage my targets. Now, this is actually not fully working yet, so my damaging attacks, I found, have not been recharging Fell Barrage, but I almost see this as a bit being like Glacial Spike and Frost Mages, where you build up a smaller resource over time, and then you've got an ability which will blow them all off at once. That's kind of what this Fell Barrage thing is doing. We'll need to see where the design goes once it's fully implemented, but it's worth noting anyway, even though it doesn't necessarily slot into gameplay at the minute. Interesting choices here. We'll have to see how it all maths out in the end, because that's what's going to dictate what we're actually doing. But overall, I'm finding this to be quite a lot more fun than it previously was. That said, yeah, some specs I do prefer, but good change on the Havoc Demon Hunter front. I know a lot of people were quite concerned about that. I'm going to have some content once I get some more gameplay done on soloing stuff, because I actually found my initial soloing as Havoc was really quite a bit of fun indeed. So I'll see what that's like, but that's pretty much it for the core of this video. Just wanted to let you know that they've got some good changes going on. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.